Hello, my name is Lucina Balian. I'm a speech and language pathologist from Harmony Speech Therapy and Diagnostics. And the topic that I'd like to discuss today is some developmental milestones and when and how to seek services for your child if you feel that they have a delay or they're not where they need to be with their speech and language development. So I'd like to point out that when we see a child who's like 6 months old or 18 months old or 2 years old, we want to see them doing certain things so that we know that they're on track with their development. And what happens is a lot of times parents might not really pick up on these developmental milestones and might miss, and the child might be missing some of these milestones. And then when they get to about 2.5 years old, and the parent is expecting them to be already talking and they're not, and so then they get concerned. So I would like to urge all parents to really start tracking their child's development as early as like 4, 5, 6 months old. So again, the earlier, the better. So at around 6 months old, we like to see a child really connecting and responding to their caregiver, really having strong eye contact, imitating sounds, making oral sounds and play, for example, blowing raspberries and smacking their lips together, like even some lingual movements, like things like that, imitating their parent. And we really like to see that the child tries to connect with the parent in a way that they are imitating behavior or sound that their caregiver makes. Another one is that they really know familiar family members or even caregivers or people that are familiar in their life. They really start to respond to their name at around 6 months old. We'd like to see that the child is somewhat responding to their name, if not 100%. So again, as I discussed in a previous video, at this around 6 months old, you can also start teaching your child sign language. So again, we really want to see that imitating behavior, whether it's with gestures or with sounds. Of course, we don't expect them to be using any words at this time. But these are all almost foundational skills that the child really does need in order to be on track with developing their speech and language. Around 18 months already, we want to see the child really producing several words, using words intentionally. For example, mom, mama, papa, dada, even for milk or water, or an approximation of words specifically for those certain items that are really consistent in their life. At this time, that they might be able to respond with no if they don't want something. And so really having that back and forth communication with the caregiver. At 2 years old, we really like to see the child producing around 150 to 200 words and really starting to put words together, 2 to 4 word utterances. And so it's really, really critical for the child around 2 years old to really understand the concept of connecting words. So therefore, they really do need to have a good foundation for some skills that for speech and language related skills, so that they'll be able to do that at 2 years old. Another thing that parents should really look out for is their child's play skills. You know, are they playing appropriately with toys? Are they really connecting with the caregiver and having what's called a joint attention, looking at an object or a toy together? So these are all things I really urge parents to look out for. If your child is not playing appropriately with toys, again, I would encourage parents to really understand what is happening with their child's play, because that's a really, again, critical and foundational skill that kids should have, is playing appropriately with toys. So that being said, again, you can please go ahead and look at the CDC guidelines for that I will post actually in the descriptions below to see specifically what milestones to look at for different age groups. And again, it talks about social emotional, gross motor, fine motor. So I'm really touching on only the speech and language portion. So what to do if you feel like your child really is not where they need to be, whether they're mildly delayed, or you have other concerns besides speech and language. So what can you do as a parent? They really have a lot of options. So the first thing I like to do is really recommend to a parent to reach out to their, if they live in an area where they do have regional centers or government funded options, you can definitely reach out to your local regional center and see what kind of services they can provide for you. Usually it's 0 to 3 years old. So after that, if you want to go that route, you definitely can seek out services, private pay services through different companies. You can reach out to your insurance company and see what options you have in regards to speech and language evaluation and services through your insurance. And once the child is over 3 years old, you can go to your local school district, and they should be able to evaluate the child as well to see if they need services to begin as early as 3 years old through the district. So yeah, there's a lot of options as to what you can do to seek services for your child. What I would suggest is for parents not to get upset or concerned. And I understand it's really sometimes challenging to take that first step to seek help, but I want to really emphasize that early intervention, getting services and providing therapy for your child if they do have a need earlier is so important. It will make all the difference in how quickly they acquire new skills, how quickly they establish motor planning skills. So really try to get in there and address the issues as soon as possible. Of course, if there's other developmental issues, then you might seek the help or seek evaluations from other services such as occupational therapists or physical therapists or child development therapists. So there's a lot of resources out there, a lot of options for parents to get their child evaluated. So I would strongly urge parents to seek these services if they do feel that their child is not meeting the milestones on time. And of course, we know that not every child develops the same way, but that we have to keep in mind that these guidelines are set in place to make sure that your child is on track to be able to be successful in the future academically, with their speech and language skills and so on. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let us know below, and we will be there to answer questions. And also, thank you so much for watching. If you do like these video series, please let us know what other information we can provide. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.